What's up friends, Chook here, and welcome to my Monster Hunter World weapon guide. This guide is aimed at players new to the series, and anyone that may not know or understand how the weapons work, and is looking for a little help. On the surface, the combat of Monster Hunter series may look fairly basic, but there's a lot more to it than people realise. Hopefully I can help you understand the mechanics a little bit better, and now that's all said and done, let's begin. The hammer. Similar to the Great Sword in mechanics and heavy hitting, large damage with a few hits rather than little damage with a lot of hits like the sword and shield or the dual blades or even the longsword. This weapon is all about charging up your attacks similar to the Great Sword as I mentioned and hitting devastating blows. However, the Great Sword focuses on cutting damage, being a sword, so you can cut tails and limbs and all this sort of thing. The hammer is a blunt weapon which focuses on KOing monsters, knocking them out, stunning them, all that good stuff. So the aim with this weapon and the hunting horn, which we'll get into soon in another episode, is all about hitting the monster in the head. You want to be hitting it in the head as much as you possibly can, and each monster has a threshold of KO damage. And the more KO damage you do, so blunt weapon damage, so the hammer, the hunting horn, the shield from the sword and shield, these all do blunt attacks that can do KO damage to monsters. The more of these hits you do, eventually you'll KO a monster, then the monster will grow a bit more resilient to those hits and you'll have to do more hits to then stun it again, etc. Same thing with applying poison or sleep or paralysis or anything else. Once it happens once, it gets a bit more resilient to that status effect, and you have to hit it more often. But effectively, that is what the hammer is all about. So let's look at the hunter notes, and we'll read up. So there's the attacks there, and as I mentioned, this weapon is all about charging. So, charge. Holding in the charge button will expend stamina to store up power. There are 3 charge levels, each with their own attack variation. Power charge boosts attack and stun power, and renders you immune to flinching while attacking or charging. It also changes the motion of your charged attack. This effect lasts until you sheath your weapon, or you're hit by an enemy attack that causes you to flinch or sends you flying. So we'll go into them, and then there's some useful combos here, which we'll also go into. But, as I've mentioned, it's similar to the Great Sword in the fact that you can charge, just like this. But the big difference is, you can do it while moving. Which is huge. So if you could charge the Great Sword while moving, oh damn. But you can't. So with this, you have... let's go over the non-charge combos first. So if you just hit triangle, 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 that's your standard combo, which does this. And then you have the big golf swing. So if there's a monster that, say the Anjanath for example, that its head's kind of off the ground, it's quite tall, you can use this with that big swing there to hit it in the head. We'll just look at the damage values. So that last hit is the one you want to connect with. If you're going to miss any of them, don't miss the last one. Now, you also have just your circle hit, which is called Big Bang. Which is that. If you don't hit anything, that's all you can do. So if I'm spamming the crap out of circle right now, that's it. But if you hit something, you'll go into Big Bang 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is what that looks like. And each hit gets gradually more damage until the final one does 3 hits and big damage. So just like with all the kind of charge up big super moves, you want to be using that when the monster is vulnerable. Knocked out or in a trap or knocked over or whatever. And again, being a hammer, you want to be hitting it in the face as much as you possibly can. So that's basically all the non-charge things. It's very simple, very basic. You want to be charging, and the fact that you can move while charging, like, just amplifies that. So when you charge, there are 3 levels to it. There's 1, 2, 3. Now, unlike the Great Sword, when you get to the 3rd charge, if you hold it for too long, you'll automatically attack. You can hold this down as long as you have the stamina to do so. So again, if you use a Mega Dash Juice or something that allows you to have unlimited stamina, or just get out of that for a sec. Or quick stamina recovery or something. Super useful for the hammer. So we'll go through each of the charges. So charge 1 is just this. It's just a side blow, effectively. Charge 2 is an uppercut. And charge 3 is a big overhead swing. But what you can do is obviously you can do them while moving. So you don't need to stand right in front of the monster and charge up like the greatsword. You can charge up elsewhere and then run in and get the attack. Now, if you do any of those charges while moving, it changes what the... if you do the third charge while moving, it changes what the charge does. So the first charge while standing still is this. Moving, it's the exact same thing. Second one, same thing. It's still just the upswing. But after each of those initial, either charge 1 or charge 2, you can then use triangle to go into a different combo. So after the charge 1, you can go into a charge follow-up and then an overhead smash, and you can go into your normal triangle combo. Or after the second charge, you can go straight into side smash and then overhead smash 2 and get to the upswing a little bit quicker. But if you move when you release charge 3, you'll go into this spinning move. Now, if you don't touch anything, after 5 swings, you'll do that. You'll basically like lose momentum and you'll kind of fall over. When that happens, you lose control of your character. So I'll try and roll out of this. That's how long it takes. So you never want to get to the point of over spinning and getting to the point where you do that big overbalance, I've fallen over move, because it leaves you super vulnerable. But depending on when you activate your triangle during that spin, you'll do 3 different moves. So 1 is this, which is just a spinning side smash. If you activate it, that's during the first spin. If you activate it during the second spin onwards, you do a spinning follow-up. And if you do the third charge, which is most likely during the 4th or 5th spin, you'll do that spinning strong upswing. So during the first spin, you'll just do a little side attack. During the second one, you'll do a big upward swing. During the 4th or 5th spin, you'll do that massive damage there. So depending on what you want to do, you can charge and move around like this to get into position. You can stop to do the big hit like that. Or you could, if the monster's still moving or something, you could do the spinning thing to kind of move with it. And just make sure that you don't reach the last swing and fall over and leave yourself vulnerable. Now, there's another mechanic called power charge. So what power charge is it will change your charge. Let's have a look at the hunter notes again. Boost attack and stun power and renders you immune to flinching while attacking or charging. Okay, so it makes all of your attacks stronger, which is great. It also makes you immune to flinching and while attacking or charging. So basically, you can still get hit and everything, but you won't flinch from like roars or if they flap their wings at you or something like that. Like you just won't flinch when normally other people would. It also changes the motion of your charge attack. This effect lasts until you sheath your weapon or you're hit by an enemy that causes you to flinch or sends you flying. So you're immune to flinching while attacking or charging. If you're not attacking or charging, you can still be flinched. Or if you get, flying across the screen by getting run over or something, you will lose this effect, as well as sheathing your weapon. But as long as you don't, this is what happens. So you can charge all the way up to 3, and then if you press power charge, you have to charge 3 again. So my recommendation would be, let me just sheath the weapon, is to, as soon as you go into a charge, start power charge. and then you don't have to charge like 6 times effectively. And this is what your standard triple attack will be. Triple charge will be. So obviously that's a bigger attack than... Just sheath the weapon again. So this is normal 3 charge. And then this is power 3 charge. While your weapon is glowing, you have power charge, right? So now every single charge that you do will be have increased attack values and what it was saying in the hunter notes. So you don't need to do a power charge and then if your weapon's still glowing like this, do another power charge. You're in power charge mode. So every charge that you do from here on out will be a power charge. You can still do all your old moves like the Big Bang and everything, but they do more damage now because you have the power charge on. But as soon as you flinch or you get sent flying or you sheath your weapon, that's it, all over. You can go straight into a charge from sheathing, which is just holding down R2. You can also go into a power charge from sheathing by holding holding R2 and circle, and that will go straight into a power charge. And you can still do the spinning move with it. It's all the same. And all of the little charges are the same as well. So that's all the same. Another cool thing with the hammer, which is introduced in Monster Hunter World, with the whole sliding mechanic, is we can do effectively this spinning move. That's obviously spun horizontally. However, if you go down a hill and you start sliding, you'll do it vertically, which is super fucking cool. It's got to be said. That I mean, you jump off a slide or something, and you do that all the way down a monster, like its back or something, or just hit it multiple times in the head. You do so much KO damage. You just do so much damage in general. You can also just go into a normal charge, a normal jumping charge, like that. But the spinning thing is way cooler, right? Way cooler. And same thing, you can jump off these like mushroom walls and stuff and do a charge as well. Now, if you land before letting the charge go, it just turns into a normal charge as if you were charging on the ground. But if you do it, if you let go while in the air still, you'll do the big down smash. And you can follow that up with triangles and stuff. So that's the hammer in its most basic form. There's more sort of technical things you can do with it, but again, these guides are aimed at newer players and newcomers to the series and everything like that. And mainly it's just to understand the charging mechanic. But it's a lot of fun. It's a fan favorite as well, like the Greatsword. It just does a lot of damage in these brutal hits. And yeah, it's a really cool weapon. But again, if you're just standing there wanting to do a few quick hits and you don't have time to charge or something, you can just do your triangle moves and then like get out or whatever. If the monster's super vulnerable, you can use your Big Bang to do huge damage to it. And this is a lot of KO damage. If you're hitting every one of those hits in the head, you'll knock out a monster pretty quickly. But for everything else, you basically want to be charging. Either power charge or normal charge. Well, you want to be in power charge as much as you can, right? But either way, you want to be charging, usually up to level 3, and then go in, stop, and do your big hit, or do your spinning hit, depending on what the circumstances are. But that's pretty much the hammer. So, let me know if you've learnt something. Hopefully that helped. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.